Hey, special educators. Welcome to Teach, Taskbox, Inspire, the podcast dedicated to making your job as a special education teacher easier by making your instruction more fun for you and your students. Inside each episode, you'll learn how to get the most use out of your task boxes in the classroom. I'm your host, Lisa Holiday from Chalkboard Superhero, a veteran special education teacher passionate about empowering you with purposeful teaching strategies, helpful tips and tricks, and other classroom management tools that will help you thrive in your role. Let's get started with today's episode. Hey there, special education teachers, and welcome back to another episode of Teach, Taskbox, Inspire. I'm your host, Lisa Holiday, and today we're going to get real about something I think all of us have struggled at some point: work-life balance, or maybe lack of it. You know that moment when you're sitting at your dining room table on a Saturday morning, red pen in hand, surrounded by IP drafts, maybe a cold coffee that you've reheated at least 3 times, and a to-do list longer than the school year itself. Yep, been there, done that. So today's episode is called Rethinking Work-Life Balance, and I want to flip the script on what we think balance really means. I'm going to share some mindset shifts, a few strategies, and a lot of love, because let's be honest, no one understands teacher burnout like another teacher, right? So let's back up for a bit. For the longest time, I thought work-life balance meant keeping all of my school stuff confined between my contract hours, right? 7:30 in the morning till 3:30 p.m., done. I had this fantasy that once that final bell rang, I'd leave it all behind: lesson plans, parent emails, behavior charts, and suddenly turn into the kind of person who has hobbies and gets 8 hours of sleep and maybe even reads a book that's not related to special ed. Yeah, that's cute, Lisa. So the reality, schoolwork spills over. I've answered emails during dinner. I've prepped materials at my kids' dance practice and printed out visual schedules at 10 o'clock at night because my brain wouldn't stop spinning. So here's the thing. I really had to rethink what work-life balance meant. According to Google, and I swear I audibly sighed when I read this, work-life balance is about achieving a healthy equilibrium between professional and personal life, managing responsibilities in a way that minimizes stress and promotes overall well-being. There it is. It's not about when you work. It's about how you live. All right, strategy number 1. Make sleep a non-negotiable. Let's start with the most basic human need we keep putting on the back burner: sleep. The CDC says adults should be getting at least 7 hours of sleep at night. So why are so many of us functioning on 4 to 5 hours? I used to pride myself on being able to run on caffeine and chaos until I realized I was no longer running. Especially now that I am 43 years old, I am limping. Now, I protect my sleep like I protect my laminator. I splurged on a good pillow. Yes, I'm not going to share how much I paid for it, but it was worth every single penny. I use a sound machine to drown out the chaos, and I have a wind down rule where I put my phone away and I do something relaxing for 30 minutes before bed. No emails, no IEPs, just calm. That's usually reading. And right now, I am really into romantasy. I love a really good book, but I definitely have that phone put away. Because when I sleep, I am better at everything. I'm a better mom. I'm a better teacher. I'm a better human. I'm a better wife. So guard your sleep, friends. It is precious, and so are you. And on a little side note, some of us need 8, even some of us need 9 hours of sleep. If that is you, please get those hours. All right, let's jump into strategy number 2. Let go of perfection. Seriously. Okay, deep breath on this one. If you're anything like me, perfectionism runs deep. I have rewritten a simple classroom newsletter 3 different times before sending it because I didn't like the font. One of the most life-changing ideas I came across was something from Craig Groeschel called GETMO. GETMO, which means good enough to move on. Not every bulletin board has to be Pinterest worthy. Not every lesson plan has to be a TED Talk. And no one, not your admin, not your paras, not your students, is expecting you to do it all perfectly. Sometimes done is better than perfect. That's a tough one for us control-loving, color-coded, Velcro organized people, but we've got to save our energy for what really matters. I mean, no one really cares what your bulletin boards look like. No one really cares what your classroom looks like. I know you have to live there for 40 hours a week, but let's be honest, no one cares. All right, strategy number 3, focus on what you can control. All right, guys, raise your hand if you've ever lost sleep over something you couldn't control. You can't see me, but yep, same, raising my hand over here. I've spent countless hours spiraling about things like, district mandates or impossible caseloads or even parents or someone else's passive-aggressive email. But when I zoom out and I ask myself, is this in my control? Most of the time, it's not. Here's what's in your control. Number 1, your reaction. Number 2, your boundaries. 3, your schedule, to a degree. 4, your mindset. We can't control everything, but we can decide where our energy is being spent. If a student's behavior plan isn't working, that's a problem I can solve. If another teacher is being difficult, I can choose to address it or set a boundary. If the copier eats my last visual schedule, well, okay, that one still sends me over the edge, but I digress. All right, strategy number 4 is recharge with hygge. I know, hygge sounds like a fancy coffee order, but it's actually a Danish word, and it's spelled Hygge. It's a Danish word that means a quality of coziness and comfort that creates a feeling of contentment, relaxation, and overall well-being. Basically, it's all about the little joys. This might look like a hot cup of coffee with absolutely no interruptions. If you have little kids at home, I'm so sorry about that. It might look like sitting on the couch under a weighted blanket. It might look like going for a walk with your favorite playlist or audiobook or podcast, hint, hint. It might look like cooking a meal you love, even if it's just pasta and garlic bread. It might look like reading a book while your dog naps right next to you. It might look like lighting a candle and watching a mindless TV show. I've started setting up a little hygge corner in my house with a soft throw blanket, my Kindle. I don't like coffee, so I like a little energy drink, or if I want something warm, I usually go for hot chocolate. And even if it's just 20 minutes, I try to be there, not scroll my phone or mentally go over tomorrow's to-do list. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And as teachers, we are professional cup fillers. So it's time to refill our own. So let's get real for a minute. Some days you're going to crush it. You're going to leave work on time, make dinner, still have time to paint your nails or watch your favorite TV show. Other days, you're going to cry in your car. You're going to eat cereal for dinner. Ha! I just did this last night. And collapse on the couch in the same jeans you wore yesterday. Or leggings, because that's what I wear every single day. Both of those days are okay. They're part of the balance. Work-life balance isn't about always being calm or productive or together. It's about finding the rhythm that lets you breathe, lets you feel joy, and lets you keep showing up without losing your effing mind in the process. So, which strategy are you going to try first? And if you're listening to this when this first drops on a Monday, pick one of these and choose one of these strategies to use for this week. Are you going to guard your sleep like your favorite Flair pen? Are you going to start embracing GETMO and stop chasing that perfection? Will you focus on your circle of control and just let the rest go? Will you carve out 15 minutes of cozy quiet time? Friend, you deserve to feel whole, not just in the summer, not just during breaks, but in your every day. And if no one told you this lately, you're doing enough. You are enough. So I really hope that this episode has resonated with you. You know, you can take a screenshot, tag me over on Instagram at Chalkboard Superhero. I want to know how you're rethinking your own balance. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. It really does help other amazing teachers find our little corner of support. And until next time, guys, bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Teach, Taskbox, Inspire. I hope you've gained some tips and motivation to fuel your week ahead. If you're ready to explore more strategies for empowering your students as independent learners, be sure to dive into my free training at chalkboardsuperhero.com/training. And don't keep all this knowledge to yourself. Share this episode with your special education teacher friends who could use some motivation and inspiration. One more thing before you go. If you're finding this podcast helpful and want to show support, head to Apple Podcasts and leave your rating and review. Until next time, keep teaching, taskboxing, and inspiring.